When it comes to topics drone pilots talk about here on YouTube, there's one that isn't really talked about much, and that's remote ID. And you want to know why? Because no one wants it. Well, I mean, other than the FAA. I can't think of a single drone pilot that when this was introduced, they were jumping up and down for joy. And especially if you're a Part 107 pilot and trying to do things by the book, you better get your credit card out. So today we are going to talk about remote ID, more specifically the Ruko R111 Remote ID module. In this video, we will unbox the module. I'll take you through the setup process. I'll give you one of my experiences with the FAA, and we'll test out the module, and then I'll give you my final thoughts on it. Go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Please consider supporting me on Patreon, as this channel is self-funded. Now let's get into it. So Ruko did send me this. They are not paying for this review, and they do not see this video before I post it. They did send me two of them, which is actually important later on in the video. So we got your instruction manual, you've got all of your accessories, then you've got the remote ID module itself. It's actually extremely lightweight. I was very impressed. You've got the Velcro pads in order to stick it to your drone. And then in the accessory package, you've got all kinds of goodies. You've got a USB-C cable for charging, and then you've got some zip ties to attach it to your drone, and then also this thing which attaches it to your drone as well. So the first thing that we got to do with this little guy is we have to activate it and get it registered with the FAA. So we're going to go to the instructions and see how well their instructions work. So first thing we need to do is download the app. So I'm going to scan this with my QR code, go to the App Store, and look at that Ruko scanner right there. So that is going to install it. And we'll open it. And let's see here, allow it to find Bluetooth devices. Absolutely. So let's turn on the power here. We've got power. Well, that's wild that it's picking up on the module already. Okay, gotcha. All right, so drone information binding. So turn on the remote ID module and press and hold the switch. Well, first let's register this on Drone Zone. It says, which I've done this many a times, go to Drone Zone, register, log into FAA, select Drone Owner's Pilot Service, launch Drone Owner's Pilot Service, manage device inventory. So we're gonna go to manage device inventory here. My FAA cart is empty, so I don't want to show you all that. So we'll go to add device. And we'll type in this broadcast module. Okay, so we'll add that. Then we'll check out. Understand. Yeah. Successfully registered your device. So now everything has remote ID on it, and that's pretty much it. So now let's go into the settings and see if we can add. So we got the app, we can hold in this for 3 seconds, and then device, connect to that. See, this is irritating to me. I don't like that I have to put in all this information in order to do this. So now I am registered, and that means that anyone with this app can now see information about myself. Love that. Love that so much. Oh goodness, I'm so excited about this. Thank you, FAA. All right, so this ticks me off so much. Oh, this is so dumb. Let me do a screen recording here and show you what I just found out, which, listen, I understand the FAA wanting to make sure people are safe, and we've got remote ID and this, that, and the other, but it's almost as if you have your Part 107, you get punished. So if we look down here, it says recreational drone pilots may register once and apply their registration number to all the devices listed with their inventory. During registration, you must list blah, 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 blah. This will permit you to move the module from one drone not equipped standard to another, so long as each of the drones make and model are listed within the same inventory. Okay, So if you do not have a Part 107 pilot's license, you can take this remote module and move it from drone to drone. But this is not the case for Part 107 pilots, who must register each individual device, standard remote ID or drone remote ID broadcast module, separately within their inventory, and each device will be assigned to a unique registration number. So what that means is, for me, because I have my Part 107, I have to get one of these for every single drone that I have. Now, just quickly, we've got this one right here. Oh, look, we've got this one. And we've got this one. Let's just get it all here. Oh, look, we've got these two. Oh, look, we've got these two as well. So you're telling me that I have to have a separate module for every single one of these drones. Love that. All right, let's go downtown and test out this remote ID module. We're gonna get it, that's for sure. So I guess, like, my point with this video is not to sit here and trash the FAA like crazy or anything like that, because I do understand that there have to be rules and regulations when you're dealing with, you know, I mean, you've got commercial airlines up in the sky that we don't want our drones getting up to and interfering with those and different things like that. So, like, I get it. I'm not sitting here saying, like, oh, the FAA is the worst thing in the world. What I'm saying is, like, I just don't understand the logic behind making the licensed people have to do more work to stay licensed and in the good graces of the FAA versus, like, a hobbyist. And it's just, it's wild to me. Even from my own experience, I had the FAA called on me one time because I got into an Instagram argument with someone where they were telling me I couldn't fly somewhere and that it was illegal for me to fly around this bridge and this, that, and the other. And obviously it wasn't. And so in the video, I had made a joke saying that I was going to loop one of the bridges in downtown Louisville. And this guy was saying all this stuff. And so I was like, you know what? Screw it. I know that I'm allowed to do this, so I'm going to do it. So I go downtown and I do a power loop around this bridge, which I'm going to show you this footage right now. And so I do a power loop around the bridge and then I post it and I was like, what now? And so the FAA reached out to me and was like, hey, listen, a couple of your drones aren't registered. You can't fly until you register them. And I was like, okay, bet. So I register the drones. Well, then I make a video about how this guy had called the FAA on me, and I was like, you know, you thought you could get me, this, that, and the other. Well, he in turns calls a lawyer, and that lawyer then calls the FAA and says that, you know, as the law reads, that I was in the wrong. So FAA reaches out to me again and says, hey, you know, we would appreciate it if you would take down this video. There's no doubts that you're, like, one of the best drone pilots in Louisville, and what you did was super cool, but, like, we can't have it. And I was like, listen, I was like, can I just jump on the phone with you guys? Like, I understand that remote ID is a thing, and this was before really remote ID was implemented. It was like that in-between period where, like, they were trying to get it implemented, but it really wasn't working. And so I was like, hey, can we just have a conversation about this? And I got on the phone with my FAA agent. He was awesome. And he just explained to me, like, you know, the way the law reads, you're supposed to have this. The technology doesn't exist. But, like, also what you did is a dangerous maneuver for a normal person, and we can't have people doing what you did. So, like, we get it. You showed them whatever, but, like, we don't want people thinking it's okay to do power loops around bridges and stuff like that, which technically now with me having remote ID, I would say that I am allowed to do that. But I'm not going to do it just because of the trouble that I got in with the FAA before. But the FAA agent told me, he was like, listen, our goal is to not sit here and just find people and find people and find people. Our goal is to educate people. And so it used to be that they would just find people without educating. He's like, but now our, you know, goal is to educate people. So I understand that in what they're doing is they, you know, they have these rules and they have these laws that you have to abide by. and they just want to educate you on them, and they're not sitting here going out and getting every single person in trouble that breaks the law. Because I mean, I know from my own experience, like I know several drone pilots who are not Part 107 certified, who are using drones for their business. And it's not this thing of every single time someone posts a video online that the FAA is hunting them down and figuring out who they are and what they're doing. But it's also a thing of you want to stay within the rules so that if something does happen, you don't get fined and you don't get all of these different things. For instance, like, you know, I know a lot of people don't want this remote ID thing, so they are not complying with remote ID. And I'm sure the FAA isn't hunting down every single person and finding them for this, but it's going to be a thing when something bad does happen and they crash a drone or they cause damage or something like that. If you don't have remote ID, your fees are going to be so much higher than if you were to have remote ID. So I understand that, but my thing is like, there is no incentive for getting your Part 107 right now unless you're wanting to make money. There is no, like, it's easier to fly drones if you're just a hobbyist. It's easier to do the remote ID stuff if you're just a hobbyist. It's now easier to fly over people if you're just a hobbyist. Like, so many of these things are so much easier as a hobbyist. And then it's like, well, you know, I want to make money with my drone. And then it's boom, you have all of these crazy regulations and different things like that. And so I do understand that there have to be regulations, but I would think that the regulations would be tighter on people who are not licensed and who did not go through the process to get their Part 107 versus punishing Part 107 pilots for having their Part 107. Like, for instance, the fact that I now have to have a remote ID on every single drone, and I can't just take a module from drone to drone. I have to have a specific module for each drone. And it, you know, wouldn't really be a thing if I only owned one or two drones, but most FPV pilots own multiple drones. I know even in the past year, I've probably gained like 6 new drones. So then that's, I'm buying a remote ID module, I'm having to register it, and it has to be fitted on this drone. And then if I'm trying to do stuff under 250 grams in order to fly over people, like I have to take that remote ID into account. And so it's just one of those things where, like, you know, if I'm flying commercially, I have to have a remote ID on every single drone, no matter what. And it would be much easier if, you know, I could just take remote ID from each drone to each drone. And really what my thinking is, and this is not, this might be conspiracy theory or just whatever it is, but, you know, the whole reason why remote ID is a thing is because companies like Amazon and Walmart want to do drone deliveries. And they want to fly autonomously without a pilot and without a visual observer. So what's crazy to me is we are having all of these rules implemented on us as the hobbyists, as the people who are, you know, making money with our drones. And because these other companies want to do the same thing, they want to skirt the rules of not having a remote pilot in control and not having a visual observer. And in order to be able to do that, now we have to have remote ID implemented on us, but then we don't get the same benefits as they do. So, like, you know, I have remote ID on my drones, but I have to have a visual observer every single time I fly. And so, like, there's this trade-off of, like, give us an incentive to get our license. Like, give us an incentive to want to do things the right way other than fines. Because, you know, honestly, if the FAA said, hey, listen, if you fly with remote ID on every single one of your drones, you don't have to have a visual observer, I would pay infinite amounts of money to be able to do that. But that's not the case. What they're saying is, hey, these companies are allowed to do this thing and we're giving them these special provisions, and we're now making it harder for you to fly drones and for you to have, to be able to do things the right way. So it's, you know, I got my license the right way. Obviously, these big companies are working with DJI, or not DJI, they're obviously working with the FAA. And so
they get to, you know, have a back door and to get around all of these different things. Whereas me, as someone who got the license, who studied, who is abiding by these rules, I'm now having to jump through more hoops in order to be able to just fly normally like I'm supposed to be able to. So all of that to say, like, it is just very frustrating from a drone pilot's perspective of, I have so many more hoops that I have to jump through in order to be able to fly 50 feet above the ground and fly through someone's home. And so it's just, you know, it seems to be, which this is the case with most like government agencies or even just big corporations, is there is a disconnect between the people who are making the rules, the people who are implementing the rules, and the people who the rules abide to. And I think that in the drone industry and with the FAA, there is definitely that big difference between the three, because it just doesn't make sense, honestly. And, you know, I'm sure that an FAA spokesperson or someone from the FAA will see this video and will probably reach out or have something to say about it or something like that. But honestly, I would love to sit down at a table and talk to someone from the FAA and just ask them, like, why are there so many more restrictions when you're flying Part 107 than when you're flying as a hobbyist? Because it just doesn't make sense to me as to why that would be the case. So if you know, just let me know. But anyways, all of that to say, I'm going downtown, and my buddy Sam is going to meet me there, and we're going to fly and we're going to test out this remote ID module. And truly, like, I am excited about this remote ID module because it is a cheap module that, you know, I don't have to solder into my drones like the other ones that I have. It's just so much simpler option and ability. Like, if I was just flying 5 inches all the time, then it really wouldn't be a big thing to just have a piece of Velcro on my battery strap and just pop it on there every time. So it's just, whenever you're getting into this realm of, you know, I have 15 different drones, I've got backups for drones, it'd be nice if I could just say, hey, you know, I've got three 5-inch drones, can I use this one remote ID module on all 3 of them? Because I can't fly more than one drone at a time. So it just, the math ain't math and things aren't making sense. And so, yeah, but I am excited for how cheap that this remote ID module is. And we're going to test it out and see how it works. And then we'll go from there.
Man, it is cold out here today. It's so much colder than I thought it was going to be, which is good because I'm enjoying cold weather. But yeah, it's a lot colder today than I thought it was. So while I wait for Sam to get here, I'm going to set up the big drone. I got to swap it from 03 air unit. No, well, I don't have to swap the drone to 03 air unit. I got to swap my goggles from the 03 air unit to the OG air unit. And then hopefully by that time, Sam will be here and we can get to testing this remote ID out. Oh, well, look who it is. Sam's here. How are you doing, sir? Do you know what we're doing today?
Yeah.
What are we doing today?
No idea.
So we're going to be testing out a remote ID module to put on your drone so that you can be compliant with the FAA whenever we fly. So see how it goes. So don't hate on me for the way that I've got this set up, but I do have my GoPro facing backwards to face the remote ID module, and it's really nice. It comes with these Velcro pads, and so all you have to do is just stick it to the drone and pray that it does not fall off. We're gonna turn it on, and it's flashing, so now it is acquiring GPS signal. And then we're gonna see what happens in the app whenever I plug it in and it has acquired signal. Let's fly with the remote ID module. Oh goodness. I haven't flown this drone in a couple days. Actually, in a while.
Don't you dare say it's your first time flying.
No, it's not. Ready?
Yes, sir. Airborne. Okay. 9, 27, 42.
Can you see it like moving on the map and stuff? All right, cool. So this is the test flight. Hopefully it stays on the drone. You know, it is Velcroed on, but it should be fine. They provided some good Velcro.
And it has GPS.
Yeah, we can find it if it falls off. It's a little windy today.
Yeah.
But no, we're doing good. Okay, so this is the first test flight with it, and you've still got signal and everything like that. All right, let's go a little bit further, just on the other side of the bridge, and see if you've still got signal. Still signal?
Yep.
Okay, I'm impressed.
Oh, wait, it blanked out for a second and came back.
Okay, well, hey, I mean, listen, that's
52.
honestly impressive. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't think it would go further than like 5 feet.
Go back over there. I want to see, because it did go out, but I didn't see when it went on.
All right, so going.
Yeah, it's gone.
Okay, so it could just be though because we're behind like this wall. Well, you can't see what I'm saying. We're behind like the pillar, so it's, yeah, it makes sense that it would go out. But yeah, okay, cool. That's not bad at all. I will say it is good to know because, you know, people can look and see the information and stuff that we're given. So I don't really want that. But I'm gonna bring it back in and land it. Beep, beep. Boom, there we have it. First flight with the, oh, and it's still attached. She's still on there.
I was waiting for it to just drop off.
Just
the second.
poop out. No, honestly, I was too. I didn't think, you know, just with some of these remote ID modules, they don't have the strongest signal path, which can't say if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but this one's got a pretty decent signal path. I mean, I was probably 200 yards away, 100 yards away maybe, and through a concrete pillar, and it still kept it. So now we're gonna put the remote ID module on the little guy, and see, look, this is a different one. See how it's got a 2? It is a different one, but I wanna put this on here just to see if this is gonna fly any different, because this is an extremely light drone. Now this product is extremely light in and of itself. Oh, the Velcro just came off of that drone. That might be an issue. So yeah, we're gonna test it out and see if it can handle this little remote module, and see if this would actually be a practical solution if you have tiny drones that you want to put this on. There it is. Okay, here we go. We're flying. So with remote ID, I'm allowed to fly over people now, so let's go into the bridge. Oh my goodness, the wind is insane right now, if we're being honest.
Especially with that.
Whoa!
So much harder to find. Because it's a lot.
What's cool is like I feel comfortable with this drone enough to like fly it around us like this.
Yeah.
But then like I can do crazy, ridiculous things like that. Just whipping this ish. Oh, come on, wind. Oh man, this drone is struggling with this wind.
A big gust just came through too.
Oh man.
He just took it off.
It tried. I mean, it's fighting the wind. Oh, it's raining. We gotta bring it back. Oh, just saw rain. All right, bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. All right, let's clean up real quick. Well, the good news is we know that it works after Sam crashed it, so can't beat that. It is raining, so the test is done for right now, and we're gonna clean up really quickly and get out of here because I can't have any of this stuff getting wet. So you can keep that recording, Sam, and we're just gonna go fast. Good news is the remote ID module stayed on, and I just need to figure out a better way to attach the Velcro to the actual drone itself, but it was great. It was fantastic. Very happy about that. So that's good news. I could see the rain in the in my goggles coming down, and I was like, oh no, we're not playing this game. I don't have conformal coating on my stuff yet.
The weight of this module by itself is 13.5 grams. It adds a little bit more whenever you put Velcro on it. The battery life, it claims it's got 5 hours of battery life, and it only takes about 40 minutes to charge. You Velcro it to the drone, or there's some included zip ties or some other ways to mount it. The price is $34.99, which honestly isn't bad, and there's a link in the description if you want to pick it up for yourself. Overall, I think this is a great and cost-effective solution for complying with the FAA. It's small and lightweight, which can give it a cheap feel, but you want it as small and lightweight as possible. And the thing just works. And that's all you could ask for a product like this, honestly. I was impressed with the connection range of this module. It stayed connected almost my whole flight without any issues. And when it disconnected, it connected back quickly. Because it is so light, I don't have any issues with attaching it with the included Velcro, but I do think that I will 3D print some mounts to this drone, because if you crash it, it's more than likely going to fall off with just the Velcro. With the battery life, you can get a bunch of flights out of it. If you're flying for more than 5 hours at a time, I'd honestly be very impressed. For hobbyists, this is the perfect solution. One module and you are covered. For Part 107 holders, it's a great and cheap option, but because you have to have a remote ID for each drone, you might want something that solders directly to the drone. But for the price, honestly, you can't beat it if you are wanting to stay compliant with the FAA. Click the affiliate link down below to purchase this product. It helps support the channel, and I greatly appreciate it. So what do you think about the rules the FAA has for Part 107 pilots versus hobbyists? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you made it to the end of this video and have enjoyed it, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. And please consider supporting me on Patreon. It means the world.